I know I don't have to ask you how it feels to be a free woman again, Mrs. Brent. Yes, sir. The bonds of matrimony can weigh heavily on one's soul. I realize that. Oh, not from my own experience, mind you. The little woman and I have been married 15 years now.
With nary a crossword, I'll wager.
That's right, nary a one.
And your wife's a very fortunate woman.
Oh, I often tell her that.
Yes, I'm certain you do. Well, goodbye, and thank you for everything.
Goodbye.
Laurie, what a one you are. What a one.
We'd better be quiet. They'll hear us upstairs.
Who cares? I'll laugh as loud as I want in my own house. I'll make as much noise as I want. If my roomers want to move out, let them. Who cares?
Romeo! Down, Romeo! Get down! Oh, he didn't get you dirty, did he?
No, it's all right.
He loves everybody, just like Laurie here.
Oh, listen now.
Mrs. Kraft, I'd like to pay my bill. I'm leaving the first thing in the morning.
Oh, that's right. This was the big day, wasn't it? Have some beer.
I don't think so.
Oh, why not? If you're glad about the divorce, you ought to celebrate. And if you're sad and want to forget about it, you ought to celebrate. So either way, you ought to celebrate.
Why, here's your bill.
Oh, thank you. May I use your pen? I'll give you a check.
Off to it. Sally, some more beer. Stay for supper, huh, Laurie?
Oh, I can't. I got a date.
Who with?
Danny Jadden.
That young squirt? Thought you had a new one.
I have. Wait till you see him.
Tell about him, Laurie. What's he like?
Well, this big across the shoulders. He moved my trunk around the other day like it was a cracker box. He's the quiet sort. And yet you get a feeling if you stepped out of line, he'd kick your teeth down your throat.
My, ain't that wonderful?
Sure is.
I never knew a man like that. My two husbands was just turnips.
Most men are.
Isn't that the truth?
If you got a man like that, Laurie, why are you going out with Danny?
I'm doing it to needle a new one. He knows I'm crazy about him. He knows he's got me all wrapped up. So I've got to start him worrying. It's a bore, but that's the way you have to handle men.
Ain't she cold-blooded, though?
I wouldn't say so. I'd say she was just being practical.
For fresh out of beer. How many times have I told
Oh, I've
you?
got plenty. I'll run over and get some.
No, please don't bother.
Are you sure? I live right next door. It'll only take a minute.
No, thank you just the same. I probably won't see you again before I leave, so goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mrs. Brand.
Bye. Oh, and good luck with the new one.
Thanks.
You know, you ought to put on some meat, Laurie. You're so skinny, can't grab hold of you anywhere.
I haven't noticed anybody having any trouble.
You're a one, Laurie Palmer. You sure are a one.
We're all good players tonight. Get your best down early, folks. I'll get a hunch and bet a bunch. No time to back up now. It's time to stack up. That's 31 in the black. We pay 31 and we pay the black. Let's go, folks. Keep up that fine play now. Leave a little, take a little.
Come on, guys. Be good to me, boy.
You win. 7 odds, you lost. Make sure. Come on.
$5.
Thank you. Coming out, here he comes. A shooter and a good one. What'll he do, win or lose? Make your bets. You bet dice, do or don't pass. Coming out again, here he comes, coming out. Make your bets. Bet dice, win or lose. Here they come, coming out. 8 is your point, make 8. 8'll win. What'll it come, field, big 6 or big 8? 8, the winner, pay the line. Make your bets. Bet dice, do or don't pass. Coming out again, same shooter. Here he comes, win or lose. Here they come, coming out. You bet dice, do or don't pass. Coming out again, same good shooter. Here he comes, coming out. You bet dice, win or lose.
Keep rolling.
Well, they come, 6-8, feel it come. Coming out, here they come. 4 is your point, make 4. 4'll win. Will he come, will he feel? Make 4. 4, the winner, pay the line. Coming out again, the same shooter and a good one. Here he comes, coming out.
Hi, Hi, Mrs. Brand.
Good evening.
Cleaning them out?
Not exactly.
Danny and I lost our shirts. Well, this is Daddy Jad and Mrs. Brand.
How do you do?
Oh, hi. How are you?
Well, Danny, shall we run along and try our luck someplace else?
Sure, oh, baby. The night's young. Glad I met you, Miss Brent.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Mrs. Brand.
Bye.
Here they come, coming out. Coming out again, same shoot and a good one. What'll he do, win or lose? 8 is your point, make 8. 8'll win. What'll he come, Phil?
Come on in. Let's have a nightcap.
Baby, you got yourself a boy.
Hello, Romeo. Hello, sweet. You know where everything is, Danny. Go ahead and fix the drinks. I'll be with you in a minute.
Okay, baby. Hello.
Get out.
Oh, come on now, Mac. Look, let's talk this out over a couple of drinks. What do you say?
I say get out.
Kind of abrupt, ain't you? I come in for a drink and I'm gonna have it.
You heard me, did you?
Look, Mac, I'm here. Now you can come back some other time. Besides, what are you getting so steamed up about? She ain't no Queen of Sheba.
Sheba or no Sheba, there's no man big enough to cut me out.
Maybe so. And maybe not.
What are you doing, Danny? Sounds like you're tearing the house apart. The racket you're making, you... Danny? Danny?
Down. Oh. Well, aren't you out late tonight, Romeo?
Yes. You ought to be home, you little tramp. Come on. Oh, no, you'll get right out again. Inside for you.
Oh, information. What's the number of the railroad station? Thank you.
Where you been?
Out.
No. Who with, the Palmer dame? If we're going to carry on a conversation, it'd help for you to talk.
The Palmer dame's dead.
Why'd you do it, Sam?
I had to. She caught me with him.
Him?
That kid. Well, making a monkey out of me. Oh, I wouldn't have killed her too, I guess, but she walked in and saw the kid lying there.
I've been scared something like this had happened. The way you go off your head. And it's been worse lately, ever since that nervous crack-up last summer. Honest, Sam. You go nuts about nothing. Nothing at all. You gotta watch that. You can't just go around killing people whenever the notion strikes you. It's not feasible.
Why isn't it?
All right, Sam. All right, it is.
He was cutting in on me.
With her? That was a big worry, I'll bet.
It's not that. It's just that I never let anybody cut in on me on anything. I can have anything I want, Maude, anything at all if I put my mind to it.
Sure, Sam, sure.
And when I want it, I take it, and nobody cuts in.
Of course, Sam. Why, he must have been crazy thinking he stood a chance with the dame after she got a load of you. Anyone spot you there?
Not that I know of.
Anyone ever see you with her?
How do I know? I don't watch everybody that looks at me.
Take it easy, will you, Sam? I'm trying to help you, that's all. There's a train out of here in an hour for San Francisco. You'll be on it.
Are you coming?
No, I'll stick here till this dies down. I'll check what leads they've got, see if anybody saw you and who they are. You get out, call me when you're set. Need any dough?
No.
Buy your ticket after you get on the train, not in the station. And Sam, in the meantime, no dames, understand?
I've got a dame in my mind, and she's dead. That's plenty for me. I'll take those for you.
Oh. Well, that's very kind of you.
What's the number of your Pullman?
I haven't one. They were all sold out.
Oh, that's too bad. Have you got a ticket?
Yes.
Well, good. Let's go.
What car, sir?
This is it.
Well, there must be some mistake. There's no room in this one.
Well, don't worry about it. Which way's the club car?
It's the next car, but it's closed, sir.
Well, right now, it's opening again.
Well, now at least we won't get thrown off to the next stop.
Oh, don't worry. Nobody's gonna throw us off.
What an assured man.
You've got to know what you want in life. Be sure you're gonna get it. You can't miss. I found that out early.
Most people don't know what they want out of life in the first place.
I'll bet you do.
Do I?
Yes.
Yes, I do. Exactly. Don't you?
I know what I want when I see it. Smoke?
No, thank you.
I saw you once before this evening. Remember?
Yes. You didn't play long.
No. I don't like gambling very much. I don't like being at the mercy of those little white squares that roll around and decide whether you win or lose. I like to have the say-so myself.
You're not a turnip, are you?
Turnip?
Yes, we were saying the other day, Mrs. Kraft, where I roomed, and Laurie Palmer, a friend of hers, that most men are turnips.
Oh.
You may have noticed Mrs. Palmer. She was the woman who spoke to me at the dice table this evening.
Yes, I believe I did notice her.
Anyhow, you're not.
Not what?
A turnip.
Oh. You like that?
Yes. I like that very much.
You live in San Francisco?
Yes.
Good.
Why good?
Because that's where I'm going to be for some time. Well, when am I going to see you again?
Let me call you when I get straightened around.
I don't know where I'm going to be. Better give me your number.
Well, you'll be staying at a hotel, won't you?
Look, if you don't want to see me again, just say so.
If I didn't want to, I'd tell you.
That's what I thought.
Why don't you stay at the Terrace Hotel? I'm sure you can get a room there, and it's a nice, quiet place.
Do you like it?
Yes.
Then it's the Terrace. Somebody meeting you when we get off the ferry?
No, I'm going to pick up a cab.
Well, swell, we'll share one.
I'm afraid not. We go in different directions.
That's where you're wrong. We're going in the same direction, you and I.
Here's your laundry, Mrs. Perth.
Okay.
My, that coffee smells good. Ain't it funny how coffee never tastes as good as it smells?
As you grow older, you'll discover that life is very much like coffee. The aroma is always better than the actuality. May that be your thought for the day.
Yeah, sure.
Telephone.
Hello? Mr. Arnett? Who's calling? No, he's not here. I don't know when he'll be back.
A debtor, I take it.
Yep. And speaking of debts, you ain't paid your share of the phone for 3 months, Arnett.
Et tu, Brutus?
I ain't talking about what you ate. That's on the house. But I want $8.55 for the phone.
I find that would leave me embarrassingly short.
Now, look.
But I have a prospective client. The one that called you on Tuesday. I'm meeting her in exactly 3 minutes. And I shall extract a sizable retainer. Have no fear.
What does this one want? Is her husband stepping out on her or what?
Murder. Mrs. Kraft?
Obviously. Who'd you expect?
Quite so. It distresses me that we must meet here, but they are redecorating my suite, and I simply cannot tolerate the smell of paint.
Well, all I hope is you're a good detective.
Well, didn't someone refer you to me?
No, your name just came first in the classified phone book.
Oh. Well, I've been in this business some 20 years. Being still alive, the deduction is, I have not starved at my trade.
That beer.
Does it every time. Well, Mrs. Kraft, how can I serve you?
You can serve me by finding the rat who killed poor Laurie. She had the best time of anybody I ever knew, that Laurie Palmer. Why, just hearing her tell about her doings is all the fun I had left in life. So now whoever did her in is going to get his. I'll see to that.
You realize, of course, Mrs. Kraft, that this will be a particularly difficult case. I will have had no opportunity to inspect the scene of the crime or the evidence. I have none of the advantages enjoyed by the police.
I know all that.
So under these circumstances, I cannot promise you anything but effort. That is, if I'm retained.
You're retained, so hop to it.
First, there is a slight monetary transaction.
How much?
$500 should retain me very nicely.
$500? You think I'm a millionaire?
Laurie Palmer left you her house. And quite a nice bit of money.
How do you know?
I'm a detective, remember?
say about the 52 Club?
Do you remember the New Year's Eve we spent there?
I certainly do.
You had order after order of crepe Suzette.
That was my New Year's resolution. I was going to have my fill for once of crepe Suzette.
The poor little man, he almost burned the bottom out of the chafing dish.
A gentleman to see you, Mrs. Brent. Mr. Wilde.
Oh, ask him to come in, please. Hello.
Hello there.
I didn't expect you.
Oh, I was at loose ends. Thought I'd drop by.
How very nice. This is my sister, Georgia Staples, Sam Wilde. How do you do?
How do you do?
And Fred Grover, my fiancé.
Hello. Hiya.
Mr. Wilde and I came down from Reno on the same train. Won't you sit down?
Well, no thanks. I see you're going out.
There's no hurry.
Except that I'm so hungry I can hardly stagger around.
No matter what's going on, Fred has to eat. You know, I think that indicates a deterioration of the moral fiber or something.
Perhaps it's a compensatory thing. You know, lack of emotional satisfaction.
Well, I guess I'll be running along. Nice to have met you.
Well, why don't you ask Mr. Wilde to come with us, Helen?
Well, thanks. I don't want to barge in on a party.
Oh, it's no party. It's just the three of us. As a matter of fact, I'm the, quote, extra woman, unquote. And you'd be saving me from that hideous fate.
Mr. Wilde undoubtedly has other things to do, Georgia.
Why, no. Strangely enough, I haven't.
Well, then let's go. Get your paraphernalia, girls.
Well, Helen, you just missed a thing in Reno. Quite a horrible murder.
It must have been close to where you were staying.
Have they any idea who did it?
No, not yet. Ooh, it's a gruesome picture.
That's what sells papers, Georgia. Now go on and get your things, and you can lamp up the juicy details when you get home. I wonder why women are so fascinated by murder. Much more so than men. You ever noticed?
No, I haven't.
That murder just happened the night before you left. Didn't you hear anything about it?
No, I left early the next morning. Were both their pictures in the paper?
Yes. She was quite a good look. How did you know there were two people murdered? Nobody said so, and you didn't even look at the paper.
Georgia, as a matter of fact, I discovered the bodies.
You what?
And I'd rather you wouldn't mention it.
But how did you? Didn't you scream? Or why didn't you call the police?
Well, mainly on account of Fred. You know how he loathes anything bordering on sensationalism. And getting involved with a thing like that is sure to be messy. Besides, it's a lot of bother. Coroner's inquest and all that sort of stuff.
Well, that seems a rather self-centered way of looking at it somehow.
I don't think so. If I had any information, it would be different. But I couldn't tell them anything, could I?
Well, maybe you're right.
Of course I'm right.
Will you take care of that?
Certainly, Mr. Grover. Right away.
Thank you, Pierre. I ordered something special for you to celebrate your return.
Wonderful. Oh, this is my very favorite piece. Come on, Fred, let's dance. You don't mind, do you, Helen?
I certainly do. But go ahead.
Thank you, my sweet.
Why him?
Well, that's a weird question.
I want to know. I don't get it.
Doesn't it occur to you that I might be in love with Fred?
He's no guy you'd be in love with.
Have it your way.
Like to dance?
No, thanks.
Afraid?
Afraid? Of what?
Oh, that you might change your mind about marrying him.
Nothing in the world could induce me to change my mind about marrying Fred.
Well, then why don't you do it? What are you waiting for?
Fred's mother died recently. Naturally, he wants to wait a few months.
I think I could change your mind about this marriage deal if I decided to. Oh, what's so funny? You wanted to see me again.
Let's not confuse the issue. Seeing you again had nothing whatsoever to do with Fred and me.
Oh, I see. You'd cross the tracks on Tuesdays and May Day with a basket of goodies for the poor slum kid. But back you scoot, and fast to your own high-tone neck of the woods, don't you?
I wouldn't say that.
No, you wouldn't say it, but that's the way it is.
Too much of a crowd for me.
Well, Fred, old boy, when I'm your age, I don't suppose I'll be able to take it either. Helen, may I borrow your mirror for a minute?
Yes, help yourself.
Here's your wedding ring. Aren't you always supposed to throw it over the fence or down a drain or something as soon as you get your divorce?
Well, I would if I were you, darling. But me, I've got to think of the diamonds. I can always hock them.
Oh, Helen, that's silly. I've told you before that I don't even want you to think about money.
Isn't it marvelous to be a poor relation and have people insist upon pressing great wads of gold into your hot little fist?
Say, aren't you two sisters?
Yes.
You mean, why am I the poor relation? You see, we're really foster sisters.
All right, if you must split hairs about it.
But we are, darling. George's father was the tycoon. He founded the town's biggest newspaper. Naturally, when he died, he left everything to Georgia.
You've no idea how this bother about money, 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 who's got the money bores me. Will you dance with me, Sam?
Why, certainly.
Cigarette, darling?
Oh, yes, thank you.
This guy your sister's marrying, this Grover. He's rich, isn't he?
Very. He's the Grover Steel Company. Why?
Oh, just curious. I think that's the way it ought to be. Somebody with money marrying somebody who hasn't got any. Sort of evens things up. You've never been married, have you?
No.
Why not?
Oh, I don't know.
You've had plenty of offers.
Well, What makes you think I've been besieged with offers?
Well, that's simple. You've got just about everything a man would want in a wife. You're young, warm, pretty. You could really love a man.
I'm sorry.
Why are you so nervous? You've heard all this before.
Well, I'm not nervous. Well, as a matter of fact, it's a little bit disconcerting to have someone you scarcely know be quite so frank.
Why? Is it wrong to come out with what's in your head?
No, it's not wrong. It's just that I'm not used to it. That's all.
Oh, we'll have to change all that. Because there's a lot more in my head I want to tell you.
Hi. Would you call my face pretty?
Did he?
Who?
Don't be coy.
He's a very attractive guy, isn't he? And different, too. You know, I've never met anyone like him before.
When are you seeing him again?
Lunch? Tomorrow. What does he do? Do you know?
No.
Well, what did you talk about all the way down on the train?
Oh, my divorce, Reno.
Helen, was it awful, those 6 weeks?
Wasn't what you'd call an enriching experience.
Well, at least it was some kind of an experience. I never seem to have any kind.
I think, darling, you're just about to have one.
Hello. Yeah, go ahead. Hello, Mart. Sam. What's doing? Good. Sure, I know it'll be okay. I wasn't worried. Terrace Hotel. Yeah. I got news for you, Mart. I'm getting married. I'm not kidding. I mean it. I don't know when. I just decided. Georgia Staples. She's an orphan. Her old man died and left her San Francisco's biggest newspaper. Sure, it's a big league. Isn't it about time I was up there? Yeah. We'll not only be rolling in dough, but marrying into this crowd will fix it so as I can spit in anybody's eye. Now, hurry it up and get down here, because I don't know how long I'll be able to hold her off. Okay, boy. I'll be seeing you.
Hey, taxi. Take me to 4106 Calvert Street.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hi.
May I ask what's going on here? Some sort of celebration?
A wedding. Georgia Staples is getting married.
Is that right? Who's she marrying?
I don't know. Some lucky stiff.
Yep. How do you do, madam? I thought perhaps you'd have some use for an accomplished dishwasher or a peerless dish dryer.
No.
Or a garbage disposer, perhaps. You see, madam, I may not show it, but food and I have been strangers since the day before yesterday.
Well, come in. Can't turn a hungry man away from a wedding feast.
Thank you.
This stuff's no good for a hungry man. How about a turkey leg?
Oh, anything will do, anything. Thank you so much.
Isn't that Mr. Well the cutest thing? His eyes get me. They run up and down you like a searchlight. Yeah.
Those whom God has joined together, let no man put asunder. For as much as Samuel and Georgia have consented together in holy wedlock, and have witnessed the same before God and this company, and thereto have given and pledged their troth each to the other, and have declared the same by giving and receiving a ring, and by joining hands, I pronounce that they are man and wife. I hope you both will be very, very happy.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Sam.
Georgia, I hope you'll be very happy.
Thank you, darling.
Mrs. Wilde.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Hello, sister.
Congratulations, Sam.
What a lucky guy.
Thanks.
Congratulations, Sam. Congratulations.
Thanks, Mart.
Tired?
Yes.
Helen.
You didn't seem to like it very much.
What?
They're getting married.
No, naturally. Did it show?
To me.
Sam's not in Georgia's class, you know that.
It was concern for Georgia?
Well, certainly.
Then why did you let the wedding go through? You could have stopped it weeks ago.
How could anyone stop a woman from marrying Sam?
Is he actually so attractive to women? Is he, Helen?
Oh, really, Fred, you picked the most hideous times to badger me. I'm tired. I've had to handle this whole thing, and I'm upset about Georgia.
I'm sorry, my sweet. I didn't realize I was badgering you.
Well, I've come to say goodbye.
Nice of you. So sad goodbyes, don't you think?
Saying goodbye to you is.
Smooth, simply smooth.
You don't believe I mean that, do you?
With bells on. Do you mind?
No, go ahead. I don't drink much. I don't need it.
That's where we're different.
Everybody's different from everybody else in some ways.
Oh, you fancy yourself an intelligent man, don't you?
I don't like that remark.
So, of course, if you don't like it, I mustn't say it.
I think you've had too much to drink.
You know what I think? I think you've got a secret of some kind, haven't you? Well, haven't you? Why does your face go tight all of a sudden sometimes? And what about this friend of yours, this pug ugly you've brought to the house?
Anything else you'd like to know?
Yes. Why do you stay away from me? You haven't said 2 words to me since you first came here.
Vanity of vanities, all is vanity.
Stop that phony intellectual patter, you climbing faker! Sorry, that was a rotten thing to say.
No, you're right. I'm nobody much. But I'll make myself a lot more than I am. I can do it, too. You don't think I can, do you?
I haven't given it a thought. You know, Sam, the way you kissed Georgia after the ceremony was very convincing. You were the perfect picture of the ardent young husband, faithful unto death.
Why shouldn't I be? Don't you realize my wife's very attractive?
I know you realize you're very attractive.
Oh, now that was a fine thing to say.
I bet you can't even remember all the women who've been mad about you, can you?
Can you remember all your men?
Leave me out of this.
Okay.
Just one more thing. Georgia's my sister, and I love her very much.
After all she's done for you, you'd be crazy if you didn't.
You don't know anything, do you? You're talking about her money, and I hate her for her money. Every time she pays a bill, every time I see something I don't own, I'm only borrowing, I hate her for her money. That's nice of me, isn't it? After all she's given me without even thinking.
I know how you feel.
There's more to it than that. Her money has made her something that I'll never be. She's completely innocent. She has a perfect faith that if she asks someone a question, they'll give her the right answer. Anyhow, I love Georgia. And if you do anything to hurt her, I'm your enemy. And I make a very bad enemy, too.
Goodbye, sister.
Mrs. Greene,
Yes, Grace, what is it?
there's a man in the kitchen asking an awful lot of questions about Mr. Wilde. I thought you'd better see him.
Thank you.
About how long has Mr. Wilde been courting Miss Staples?
I don't know, a few weeks.
My, how quickly love flowers in the hearts of the young.
Well, they're getting ready to leave. Honest, that Mr. Wilde, he just makes me water at the kneecaps.
Well, obviously, Mr. Wilde is a gentleman the ladies take to.
Yeah.
I won't waste your time or mine by letting you lie about who you are. Would you give me your wallet, please?
Perhaps this might all be less painful if we discussed it in private.
Grace, would you mind waiting in the pantry with the others? It'll only take a few minutes. He said he was hungry. Detective.
Or operative, as we euphemistically call it.
I'm not interested in your professional drolleries, Mr. Arnett. I want to know why you're here asking questions about Mr. Wilde and who your client is.
Naturally, I cannot reveal the name of my client.
Your ethics touch me deeply.
Noblesse oblige.
I see that I shall have to call the police.
That would be extremely unwise. It might involve Mr. Wilde even more seriously in an already very serious matter. Good day. I hope Mr. and Mrs. Wilde will have a most enjoyable honeymoon.
Grace. Show this man out at once, please. Oh, and Grace, you didn't tell him anything about Mr. Wilde, just by accident. For instance, you didn't tell him about the visitors Mr. Wilde's had.
But Mr. Wilde hasn't had any visitors, except the gentleman who arrived for the wedding today.
Helen!
We've been looking for you. Maggie Macy just told me that you're moving in with her. What in the name of heaven made you dream that up?
Well, I thought you should have your house to yourself.
Oh, darling, that's silly. You'll be leaving anyway as soon as you and Fred get married, and that won't be long.
Maybe she doesn't like me.
Why, Sam, I adore you. Of course I'll stay. Have a wonderful trip, Georgie.
Thank you, darling.
Georgia, dear.
Yes. It was a silly idea, moving out. Goodbye, brother.
Goodbye.
Come on, darling.
Better hurry, you two.
Yeah, you'll miss your train.
Come on, everyone. They're leaving.
He's gone now, that man. I hope his coming didn't upset you, Mrs. Brent.
Upset me? Why, no. His coming here made me feel wonderful. With the keys to the city right in my hand.
Why did you call me?
I was downtown shopping, and I thought it'd be nice to have a cocktail with you.
When Sam introduced us, you made it very clear that my being in your house was strictly Sam's idea, and strictly a bad one.
I know, I was rude. I was wondering if you'd forgive me and forget about it.
It's all right, forget it.
I thought we'd have a line from George and Sam by now, but no.
I don't know about Georgia, but Sam's no letter writer.
You've known him a long time, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah, Sam and I lived together 5 years now.
How did it happen you didn't come to San Francisco when Sam did?
I had some business to take care of it. Wait a minute. Seems to me we're doing a lot of question and answer stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pry. Really not.
Drink up and let's have another shot.
Good. I must warn you, though. Liquor makes me nosy. I've been known to ask all sorts of personal questions after 4 cocktails.
It's all right. I've been known to tell people to mind their own business. Cold sober, too.
Grace?
Hello, Fred.
Hello.
I didn't expect you tonight.
What is all this, Helen?
Oh, what?
It's about Mart Waterman moving in. When I called, Grace said that you just phoned from downtown and asked her to get a room ready for him.
Yes, I've invited Mart to stay here.
What on earth made you do that?
Well, he's Sam's closest friend, and I thought it was silly for him to stay at a hotel when we have so many empty rooms. I don't know why it didn't occur to me days ago.
I don't like the idea at all, Helen. Having this man in the house with you...
But, Fred, Grace is here.
That's not the point.
Oh, don't be stuffy, darling.
At the risk of seeming completely mid-Victorian, I want you to ask him not to come.
But how can I do that now?
Invent some excuse or other. It's not difficult.
But it is, darling. I just can't do things like that.
You mean you won't?
Oh, Fred, really, I don't see why you should...
That sounds like George and Sam.
So soon? They weren't coming back for another week.
Going to work is fine, but what you want to do
All right,
is...
let's skip it then.
Sam, it's such a silly...
I said skip it, and I meant skip it.
Hello, Sam. Hello, darling.
Have a good trip?
Yes, wonderful.
Yes, until I spoil it with my crazy notion.
Sam wants to run the paper. Darling, if you'd had any business experience at all, but you've been a fighter and managed a cattle ranch or 2. How could you know anything about running a newspaper? I told Sam if he'd only take the job in the office to start with till he learned the business.
Look at it this way, Sam. You wouldn't suddenly...
I think this is something Georgia and I can settle without anybody else butting in.
Sam, Fred's part of the family. He has a right to butt in, as you call it.
All right, so he doesn't like it.
Only because it doesn't make sense, Sam. Does it to you, Helen?
No, it doesn't.
Sorry I made a scene.
Oh, now.
It's just that I don't know. I can't stand fighting with Sam.
Easy does it, Georgia.
It won't seem nearly so tragic in the morning, dear.
No, I suppose it won't. Good night.
Night.
Night. Well, I'll call you tomorrow.
Fred, you're angry with me.
No.
Sure not?
Yes.
You do see that I can't cancel that invitation, don't you, darling?
Yes.
Well, aren't you going to kiss me goodnight?
Good night, Helen.
Why were you against me tonight? You don't know what I have in me. You don't know what I can do. I can run that paper, and better than most if I had a chance.
I believe you could.
Then why were you against me?
Because Fred was.
And you love Fred desperately.
I love Fred.
You love Fred.
Why this sudden passion to run the paper?
I'd be on top. I could make people or break them. I could do that. Do you understand?
Yes, I think I do.
Sure you do. Because your roots are down where mine are. I knew that the first time I saw you.
Soulmates, huh?
Stop laughing.
Well, for a man who's just returned from his honeymoon with an attractive wife, you're very ardent.
What's the matter with you? You know how I feel about Georgia.
Do I?
Unless you're a fool. She means no more to me than Fred does to you.
Very interesting. Now, I must get this milk up to Georgia.
He means nothing to you. Say it.
He does, though.
What? What, Helen?
Fred is peace and security.
It's his money, then?
Yes, partly. All my life, I've lived on other people's money. Now I want some of my own. But there's another kind of security that Fred can give me. Without him, I'm afraid of the things I'll do. Afraid of what I might become. Fred is goodness and safety.
And what am I?
You. Your strength, and excitement, and depravity. There's a kind of corruptness inside of you, Sam.
That'd drive most women off if they understood like you do.
Yes.
But not you. You have guts. Georgia told me how you found those two in Reno. You had guts then. You didn't yell or faint.
No.
And it wasn't only finding them dead. It was the way they were dead. The kid jammed in the doorway. The Palmer dame lying there under the sink.
Blood on her hair.
Blood all over the place, and you didn't yell.
No, I didn't.
Helen.
Oh, there you are.
What are you doing here?
I brought my stuff over. I'm moving in.
Whose idea was that?
Helen suggested it. Good night.
You sure picked a fine time to bust in. I need a drink.
Hello, I want to speak to Albert Arnett in Reno, please. Yes. 22766. I'm Mrs. Brent. Thank you.
Look, Sam, you got a good-looking wife with all the dough that's not locked up in the mint. Why don't you play it close to your vest?
Meaning what?
Leave Helen alone.
Why?
I just told you. Not that I blame you, of course. Helen's a creamy dish, but she's gonna get
If I ever catch you so much as looking at Helen, I'll tear your throat out.
Oh, Sam.
Never mind the Sam. Just remember what I told you.
No, I don't want to talk to anyone else in Reno. Just find out where Mr. Arnett can be reached in San Francisco, please.
What's wrong?
Helen. She just phoned a guy in Reno.
Reno?
I don't get her. I don't get her at all. Maybe I was a fool, but I would have sworn...
What?
Maybe not. Maybe she is against me. I don't know. She puts herself in my arms and tries to trap me. She feels and digs and looks inside of me.
Sam, take it easy. We'll work it out somehow. Just take it easy.
Where every prospect pleases and only man is vile. That quotation occurs to me quite often in my profession.
Mr. Arnett, I've been very curious to know what progress you've made since I last saw you.
I've done rather well.
How well?
My investigation concerning Mr. Wilde is almost complete.
And when you fill in what's missing?
I shall turn everything over to my client, who I believe will inform the police.
Naturally, I'm deeply interested. After all, it does concern my brother-in-law.
So it does.
And it would be very trying for all of us if he were linked up with anything like...
Like murder? Unfortunately, Mr. Wilde is already linked up with it. In fact, I would go so far as to say that not only is he linked up with it, but he's the chief performer in this case.
I presume that, so far, your client knows nothing.
Your presumption is correct.
Mr. Arnett,
It's quite all right, Mrs. Brent. I am a man of integrity. I'm always willing to listen to an interesting offer.
Well, I'm prepared to pay handsomely.
Good. Obstructing the wheels of justice is a costly affair.
$5,000 should do it.
$15,000 should do it.
I think you're basing your demands on false premises, Mr. Arnett. I am not a rich woman.
I know that. But your sister is very rich. So is Mr. Grover, whom you're planning to marry.
7,000.
15.
I doubt very much if I can manage to get it.
In that case, I shall have to forge ahead with my inquiry. And may I remind you that Nevada courts have rather puritanical views? Why, some of our more impassioned juries even insist that a man who commits murder pay with his life. You know, Mrs. Brent, I'm a simple man. And I'm somewhat confused about your motive in protecting Mr. Wilde.
He's my sister's husband. I should think it would be quite obvious.
But he was your sister's husband when I came to your house that first day, and you had no intention of protecting him then. In fact, you went out of your way to supply me with information which might assist me. Of course, Mr. Wilde is a most attractive man. And I suppose even my sister-in-law, on sufficient acquaintance, might succumb to his charms.
Good night.
Good night. Has it occurred to you, neither of us looks like a scoundrel, do we?
Where have you been?
That's my affair.
Where have you been?
Seeing a man called Albert Arnett. He's a detective.
Seeing him about what?
He has a client who thinks you committed a murder in Reno. I told him that was fantastic. I knew you hadn't committed any murder.
How'd you find out about him?
He was here the day of your wedding. It occurred to me tonight it might be rather awkward if he went around spying and asking questions, even though the whole thing is ridiculous. So I decided to put a stop to it.
That isn't why you went.
I tell you it is.
You're lying.
Take it easy, Sam. I don't think she is.
Whose side are you on, anyway?
Oh, Sam.
You certainly make it tough for people who are on your side.
What did she say that detective's name was?
Arnett.
Mrs. Kraft, please.
618.
Deal.
Gotta add up.
Why?
Find out who won.
I won.
Who says?
Don't argue.
You won. How's the search coming along?
That's what I'm going to find out from Mr. Arnett. Shut that, will you? The coal's eating into my bones.
Pleasure, pleasure, pleasure.
Well, did you ever get around to playing cards with Virginia?
Virginia?
I thought so. You're no Casanova with women. Those were all lies you fed me. You're a poor substitute for Laurie, let me tell you.
Are you calling me a liar?
Yes, you're a liar, all right.
Mm-hmm. And you are a cheat.
What makes you say that?
Can I help you?
Yes.
Well, well, the 10 of diamonds we were looking for.
Hi, sure enough. Yes. See who it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's you. That's all. Take you on again tomorrow, and I'll beat you again, too.
Yeah, and a pig's eye. Quite a delightful surprise you're coming to San Francisco. But a needless trip, if I may say so. May I help you?
I got nothing to keep me in Reno, and I wanted to be on the spot when you caught the skunk that killed poor Laurie.
Now, Mrs. Kraft, I didn't say he was here.
What made you come here, then?
Look, a certain young man came here. And this young man I remembered seeing outside Mrs. Palmer's house, at police headquarters, at the funeral parlor where poor Mrs. Palmer was laid out.
Poor Laurie. I hope she's in heaven now. Although I don't know as Laurie'd have much fun up there. Go on. This man you saw at the funeral parlor. Is he the one?
No, but he gave me a lead.
What good's a lead? It's high time you found out something.
Mrs. Kraft, in a few days, either my suspicions will be verified and we will have our quarry, or I will have failed you, which, believe me, will be exceedingly painful to a man of my integrity.
It won't hurt half as much as me to lose my $500.
Speaking of money, I have a little expense account which I thought I'd leave with you for traveling and incidentals.
Boy, you really blow yourself to those incidentals, don't you?
All right, Mrs. Kraft. Thank you.
Yes?
How do you do, Mrs. Kraft?
Who are you? Take your foot out of my door.
What I want to talk to you about concerns Laurie Palmer.
Oh.
Thank you.
Well?
Now, you don't expect me to tell you just like that. It's not feasible.
How much is it going to cost me?
Well, I'm not going to do much, so I won't need much. A C note should make me very happy.
Now, I suppose.
No. I'll prove to you I'm strictly on the level. Tonight'll be all right, after I show you what you're looking for.
Fair enough. How come you got hold of this information?
Through underworld connections, like it says in the newspapers. I'm a bad boy.
Yeah, huh? Have some beer.
No, thanks. Beer makes me sleepy. I don't like it.
Me, I love it. I love it the best in the world. I love Laurie, too. Yeah, I'm at the barren tail end of my life, and Laurie was all I had. Laurie in the bottle. Well, there's nothing I can do for the bottle, but I'm sure not going to let Laurie down.
That's right. You and Laurie stick together. Mrs. Kraft, here's a map of San Francisco and vicinity. You see this corner I've marked here? I better write it down for you. You pick up a cab tonight and drive out there alone. I'll be waiting for you.
What time?
11 o'clock?
Mm-hmm.
And remember, Glamour Girl, I'll do this on just one condition.
What's that?
That you don't make any passes at me when you get me out there. I'm a very shy kid.
Oh.
Yes?
Oh, are you turning in right away?
No, I was just going to read. Did you want to see me about something?
Yes. I wanted to talk to you about Sam. He's a great guy, Sam, but he's kind of impulsive and, well, he's the sort of guy that punches first and asks questions later. Now, I think you're different. I think you figure things close. So that's why I took a chance on having my head beat open and came in here tonight. The way I see it, it's not feasible for you and Sam to keep on. Well, what I mean is, Sam's married to a lovely little wife, and you're engaged to that nice Mr. Grover.
That's right, I am.
Don't get mad.
I am getting mad. I resent people marching into something that doesn't concern them.
You think it doesn't. Concerns me, all right, if it concerns Sam.
Suppose you discuss it with Sam, then.
I tried to tell you about him. The way he is, he won't listen to what I have to say.
And I'm not interested.
Well, I got it off my chest anyhow. Good night.
Good night.
It's me, Sam. Can I come in?
Yeah.
Well, I found the client. She's at the Felton Hotel. Her name's Kraft. She was Palmer's pal.
Yeah?
I got everything fixed. I'm gonna meet her in a little while. What a glamour girl. Sam.
What?
Are you sure this is the way you want it handled?
Why?
Just asked. I don't mind if it's the most feasible way.
I'm sure this is the way I want it handled.
Okay. Have you figured out what we're going to do with the detective?
No.
Well, don't let it worry you. We've come through everything so far, haven't we?
Yeah.
So long.
So long, Maud.
How much?
$2.70, please.
Keep the change.
Thank you. Are you sure this is the corner? There are no buses or streetcars around here if you get stuck.
This is it, all right.
Okay, lady.
Hi, Glamour Girl.
Hello.
Well, now that we're both here, we can be on our way.
On our way?
We've got a little bit of a walk out there. You don't mind, do you?
I sure do mind. I ain't built for gallivanting around the sand.
I'll help you if the going gets rough. You can depend on me, Glamour Girl.
This is pulling my legs right out of their sockets. How much further do we go?
No further.
Well, I don't see a thing here. What have you got to show me?
The moral is don't hire detectives. Glamour Girl, you shouldn't feel so bad. You lived a long life. You're no spring chicken, you know. Oh, Glamour Girl. Who is it?
It's me, March, your old pal, Sam.
What's the matter with you, Sam? Sam, what's this all about? Sam, take that knife away. What did I do? I was out here tonight for you.
You were in Helen's room for me, too, I suppose.
I was, Sam. I was trying to save you trouble, that's all.
In her room?
It wasn't like it looked. It wasn't, I swear, Sam.
Wasn't it?
Sam, take that knife away so I can talk to you. I knew you'd listen to me, Sam. Here's how it was, Sam. Oh, you're crazy, Sam.
Mrs. Brent. The police are downstairs, Mrs. Brent. They say Mr. Waterman was murdered last night.
I'll be right down. Grace.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you told Mr. and Mrs. Wilde yet?
Yes, Mrs. Brent.
How long has Mr. Waterman been living in your house, Mrs. Wilde?
About a week.
Did anyone telephone him or come to see him during that time?
No, sir. No one that I know of.
Mr. Wilde, what exactly was your relationship to Mr. Waterman?
He was a friend of mine. A good friend, down on his luck.
Have you any idea why he was out on the dunes last night?
No, I haven't.
When did you see him last?
He came into my room for a few minutes, about 9:30. We talked casually. Then he said he thought he'd go out for a while and left.
He didn't mention where he was going?
No.
I see. What time was that, did you say?
About 9:30. I'm fairly sure of that because I felt restless after he left, and I asked Mrs. Brent to play cards with me for a while. My wife had had a headache all afternoon and had gone to bed right after dinner.
And how long did you and Mr. Wilde play cards, Mrs. Brent?
Oh, I should say till about midnight.
Well, I think that's all for now, folks. We may have to drop in on you again, though.
Of course. Anytime you wish.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Well, I'm going to get into some clothes. How about you, Helen?
No, I think I'll have some coffee first.
Darling, I know how dreadful this is for you.
You fool, you stupid, crazy fool. Do you think the world is yours and that you can crash around tearing it to pieces? Why don't you use that thick head of yours occasionally before you wreck everyone's life? Why didn't you think what you were doing?
I knew what I was doing. And I'll do it again any time I catch anybody making a monkey out of me.
What do you mean?
I saw Mart coming out of your room.
You mean you murdered him for that? And you were the one who said you've got to know what you want out of life and go after it tooth and nail. You who let every mad whim that enters your brain whip you around. I'll bet you would even kill me if I made a move that didn't meet with your approval.
I might.
Why was Mart out there on the sand dunes?
What's the difference? He's dead now.
You're forgetting I'm in this, too. And don't think I didn't loathe perjuring myself to the police. Why was he out there?
To meet old Eddie Kraft, Palmer's pal. He was going to get rid of her.
I suppose that was your idea.
Why not? She put a detective on me, didn't she?
And if you'd succeeded in killing her, what about the detective?
I'd have figured something out.
Oh, yes, you and your great brain. You would have figured out something fine. Something that would have messed things up good, I'm sure of that. Where can I find Mrs. Kraft, do you know?
Why?
Why do you suppose? To try and patch up your bungling.
I'm so grateful to have such a clever friend.
I can do better than you did. And I won't need any knives or blunt instruments either.
Yes?
I'm Helen Brent. When I called from downstairs, you said you remembered me.
Oh, yes.
You look ill.
I didn't sleep so good last night. They're pals of yours.
Who?
Those two butchers that tried to murder me. Says that one of them is married to your sister.
Now, Mrs. Kraft, Mr. Wilde didn't try to murder you.
Maybe not, but the other one did. And he thought he had me, too, but he was wrong. He said I'd live long enough, but the joke's on him. He's the one that's dead, and me, I'm alive and hollering. Hand me that beer, will you?
It was Mr. Wilde who saved your life, now wasn't it?
But he killed Laurie.
What makes you think that?
He's the one, all right. I know. And as soon as I get my clothes on, I'm going to the police.
If you go to the police, you'll see Laurie sooner than you think.
Are you trying to scare me?
I'm just warning you. Perhaps you don't realize. It's painful being killed. A piece of metal sliding into your body, finding its way into your heart, or a bullet tearing through your skin, crashing into a bone. It takes a while to die, too. Sometimes a long while.
But I won't die!
I tell you, you will.
I'm so tired. Can't you leave me alone?
Does it matter very much if this man isn't caught?
You're the coldest iceberg of a woman I ever saw. And the rottenest inside. I've seen plenty, too. I wouldn't trade places with you if they sliced me into little pieces.
Do you want to live or die?
Laurie, I failed.
You understand that if Sam Wilde is turned over to the police, for any reason, your life is over.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Wait. I'd be a bad hostess if I didn't see you out.
Bad cess to me?
No need for me to say it. You carry your own curse inside of you.
I've been waiting all day for a chance to talk to you. I saw Mrs. Kraft. It was pretty awful. Anyway, you needn't worry about her anymore. Fred will be here in a little while, and I'm going to get the money from him to keep our net quiet.
What are you knocking yourself out for? Lying to the police, shutting up Kraft, hitting Grover for dough. Those aren't things Helen Brent would ever stoop to.
Well, none of them is very pleasant, naturally.
Then what are you doing them for?
Oh, Sam.
Well, why are you? I'd like to know.
For George's sake. All right, then, for my sake. For hours. Now are you satisfied? Of course I didn't like doing them. I hated doing them. And I hate you for forcing me to do them.
I'm not forcing you to do a thing.
I know. Sam. Come back by midnight. I'll be waiting for you.
You want me to come back knowing what you know, don't you? All right. See you at midnight.
Sam, you're carrying a gun.
Sure. Can't tell when I might need one. Can't tell when I might suddenly turn into a suspect.
Just a moment, please. There's a Mr. Arnett on the telephone, Mrs. Brent, and Mr. Grover's here.
Oh, tell Mr. Arnett I'm not in. To call back later. You know, they were such good friends. Sam's really taking it very well, though.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
Georgie. Well, I've got some things to take care of. See you later, children.
Right.
Pretty awful, that Mark business.
Yes, wasn't it?
Helen, I asked you not to have him in this house.
I know you did, darling, and you were perfectly right. I'm so sorry I didn't listen to you.
Well, that's water under the bridge now. Helen,
Darling,
I have something
wanted...
Go ahead.
Now, mine can wait. What were you going to say?
Just that I've been thinking about things. I feel that our getting married would be a mistake.
You mean you're no longer in love with me?
I wish I weren't.
Fred, what's this all about?
The point is, Helen, you don't love me. I suspect I've known that for a long time, but I've shied away from it.
What I say doesn't matter?
What you say and what you feel are completely different things, I've found. It seems to me that since I've known you, you've become lovelier, more mentally assured. But it also seems to me that when I first knew you, you had a heart. I don't think you have anymore.
I'm just an iceberg of a woman, is that it? Well, you'll be pleased to know that you're not the first person to tell me that.
I didn't know that anyone else could see under that shining surface of yours. Why can't you, Helen, before it's too late?
Too late? What an ominous choice of words. Too late for what, pray?
You told me once a long time ago that you'd always land on your feet no matter what happened. You won't always, Helen.
How dare you say these things to me? Who are you to be so smug and holier than thou?
I didn't mean it to sound that way.
Are you so perfect that you can sneer at me?
I'm sorry we had to end this way.
Fred! Fred, don't go! Don't! If you leave me, I haven't a chance. Stay and help me. The person who said I was cold also said I was rotten inside. Oh, part of me is, but I'm not clear through, not yet, Fred. I'll fight it. I'll fight it off and I'll be all right. You'll help me.
I'm afraid I can't help you.
Oh, Fred, please.
If I felt I could, but...
I need you. I need you terribly. You saw enough good in me to fall in love with me. It's still there.
I doubt it, Helen. You've changed so, particularly since Sam came into this house.
Why would Sam have any effect on me?
I don't know. Why would he?
I see now. Sam's the reason you feel as you do.
You never see a thing except what you want to see, do you?
Brent, Mr. Arnett's on the phone again. Do you want to talk to him now?
Yes, I do.
Hello, Mrs. Brent. Through some strange circumstance, my client has decided to abandon her search. Now, I have a glimmering as to what may have caused this abrupt change of heart. But don't make the mistake of thinking that I can be that easily swayed. Nothing is going to save you, Mr. Wilde, except the sum I quoted you. $15,000, and at once.
You're not going to get it from me, Mr. Arnett. The gentleman in question has cost me much too much already.
I hope you realize that I'm not bluffing. The police will be there 1 hour after we conclude this conversation.
It can't be too soon to get him out of my life. He'll be back in the house about midnight. And I might warn you, he's armed.
You remember the verse from the Bible, Mrs. Brent? I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and he who falls beneath her spell has need of God's mercy.
Where's Fred?
He's gone. For good.
For good? Oh, Helen, I'm so sorry. Would you like to tell me about it?
No.
Perhaps going away for a bit would be good. We could take a trip to Florida. Just you and Sam and I, and we could have
Georgia, I have to talk to you about Sam. He doesn't really mean too much to you, does he?
Oh, my Helen, what in the world?
Georgia, Sam's going to be arrested.
What?
He killed Mart. He killed those people I found in Reno.
Oh, really, Helen? Sam killed Mart. Sam killed some people in Reno.
I tell you, it's so, Georgia.
Helen, if this is some kind of a
Now,
joke,
look, we haven't much time. The police will be here at midnight. I want you to be prepared.
I don't believe it.
There's proof, Georgia. There are fingerprints in Reno. Darling will get the best lawyer in town for him. Then, no matter how it comes out, we'll go away, you and I. I'll be with you, and you'll be all right. Where are you going?
To put some of his things together. He's got to get out of here.
No. It'd be worse for him if he tried to get away. The police may have men around the house any minute.
Yes. But, Helen, we've got to do something. When Sam gets here,
Sam gets here, you'll go up to your room. You're so upset, he'll know something's wrong.
Do you think I'm going to let my own husband walk into a trap?
Georgia, Sam's a murderer. A maniac. How can you stand the thought of even looking at him again?
I don't know how, but Oh, Helen, I still can't believe he did this.
Of course you can't. I realize it's been a terrific jolt. And you've never had to take any jolts. Your money has always protected you.
What's my money got to do with this?
Nothing, of course.
You called the police.
George, I had to.
How long have you known about Sam?
A few days, I guess.
And you've just made up your mind tonight to call the police. In the middle of the night. What are you? Fred was through with you tonight, wasn't he, Helen?
Georgia, what are you...
You were willing to let my money go when you had Fred's. But not when Fred walked out on you.
How ridiculous.
Then you suddenly realized you weren't going to get his money or mine. Well, you were right, you're not.
Georgia, listen. Whatever else I've done, I've loved you.
All you've ever loved is my money. That's all you've ever hung around me for.
Be quiet.
Well, I'll tell you this much. You won't get another nickel from me as long as I live, and when I die, you still won't. I'll see to that first thing in the morning.
You'd better stop.
You're through, washed up as far as I'm concerned.
Little fool, you're crazy. If I am, at least I'm crazy with love for a man. All you're crazy about is money and yourself. Mad about a man who doesn't give a tinker's damn for you. You think you can get back at me like that by telling me Sam doesn't love me? I'll show you how much he loves you. Stay there and listen. Sam. Things are piling up on us, Sam.
Why? What happened?
I'm afraid for you. Let's go away together, you and I.
Yes.
Tonight. Right now.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Both of you, get out. Sam, she'd never let us be happy, never while she's alive. Get out, I said. Do you hear me, Sam? She doesn't want us to go away. We can never be together, never till she's dead.
Yes, I think you're right.
So, Sam, that I would have saved you no matter what. Maybe Helen was right in calling the police. I don't know. I don't know anything anymore.
Open up! This is the police.
You call the police? You?
Why would I call the police, Sam?
I don't know why, but you did.
You don't believe Georgia about a thing like that?
Yes, I think I do.
Open up! Open up in there!
You have to let them in.
Don't go near that door.
Me, Sam, remember? Tonight's our night. We still have time for a few kisses before the police get me. You'd love that, wouldn't you? You're crazy about me, don't you remember?
Sam, you're out of your head. I should have known that long ago. Please be reasonable.
Come on out, my darling.
Brent.
In there.
Sure. Send for an ambulance.
Okay. Won't do this guy any good, though.
You should never have stayed in the house with him, Mrs. Brent. It was taking too big a chance.
Yes. I did take too big a chance.
Well, I wouldn't worry. Everything will be all right.
No. No, it won't. Fred was right. This time I didn't land on my feet.
The way of the transgressor is hard. More's the pity. More's the pity.